Yeah, that's how powerful this wolf is and how fast at the same time. I don't know, but in my opinion, it's just broken. Yeah, a shrine, an unkillable wolf. It looks amazing and insane, and it's just insanely overpowered stuff. Bam, 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 bam. Basically, she's pretty tanky, but again, around 4 million DPS, some speed that I clear ritual. By the way, I'm pretty tanky, as you can see. I don't care about anything going on around me. Pale and Meshes Kingdom. Today is the day of the big patch. Evil Jonathan Rogers decided to nerf our favorite Ice Wolf playstyle. My wolf does not agree. I played with support gems a little bit, brainstormed insanely overpowered new passive skill tree, and actually broke the wolf. Yeah, this character got insane amount of effective HP, insane amount of power, we're reducing all damage taken by 85 to 90%. So that's my final form and final build for Wolf Druid. Okie dokie, where do we start? Well, before we begin, let's have some fun and run him up. Fully juiced corrupted tier 15 weight stone with 3 tablets. Let's go! You will be amazed how powerful the build is in today's form. Basically, we cry as always, but as you can see, cries are a lot faster right now, and as you can see, comets from the sky is a lot bigger. Yeah, this lunar assault is just insane, and it just melts rare enemies. We're just going in, and actually we're using it without any cooldown at all. Yeah, there's no cooldown, and Lunar Blessing got no cooldown recovery. Min-maxing damage, yeah, that's what I'm doing, guys. It's insane. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you my new friends. They are insanely overpowered, more on them later, but they gives us even more power, and it's just crazy how powerful this wolf is. Basically instant screen explosions, destroying elites in few seconds. Oh my goodness, yeah. And still it's not most powerful weapon. So my weapon was crafted for like 1 divine orb, and there's cool video showcasing you the session where I crafted it. It will be linked in a pinned comment. I don't know, I hope you're enjoying what you see on the screen right now, because I definitely do. It's just very fun, and I never had so much fun with the wolf before. Yeah, this patch actually changed a lot. We're having a lot of power right now, and we clear all the bosses insanely easy. And now you'll see the speed that I clear ritual. By the way, I'm pretty tanky, as you can see. I don't care about anything going on around me. Insanely fast at the same time. Oh my goodness, that's just insane. Oh, bridge, let's see how we can play bridge. Maybe just like that, after removing screens from existence. I got a little bit of monster pack on this map, but I don't see any monster packs. They're getting deleted basically in one single hit. Oh my goodness, it was an elite. One more elite, I guess who cares? We can't see any enemies anyway. Yeah, that's how powerful this wolf is and how fast at the same time. I don't know, but in my opinion, it's just broken. Yeah, thank you GGG for not nerfing it. I don't know why everyone thinks that wolf got nerfed, but it just got insane amount of buffs, and that's why we are so powerful today. Let's see how we can fight versus boss. So that's the boss. Frozen, and bam 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 bam. Basically she's pretty tanky, but again around 4 million DPS sometimes happens, and Divine Orb definitely deserved. It's highest difficulty boss, by the way, so yeah. I guess let's start with Lunar Blessing. Lunar Blessing was insanely cool, and there was 10-second cooldown time. Now, Lunar Blessing will have 22-second cooldown time, but it will reload its cooldown while buff is active. Lunar Blessing duration is 5 seconds, and extra seconds if you spend rage. So previously with 10-second cooldown, the skill can be used for 5-second duration, and it will stay, and then you need to wait 10 seconds. But what I came up with is this combination of support gems. First of all, prolonged duration for more skill effect duration. Then we're adding second wind. It will improve cooldown, it will make it larger, so it's kinda bad, but it will give us ability to have 2 cooldowns. Actually, it gave ability to stay in this form almost without any downtime. And also it's nice to have something like cooldown recovery. Here's the fun part. I don't have cooldown recovery on my Lunar Blessing. And guess what? I can stay in it basically without cooldown. I just need to make like few attacks to prolong duration for like extra second, and there will be exactly 0 downtime. As you can see right now we are without rage and there's almost no downtime. How it is possible? Well, That's because we got loads of changes in passive skill tree. I will leave a link for my character in pinned comment. But here is explanation of what's going on. Most importantly, Lunar Blessing right now is Warcry. This means now we need to turn our druid brains on and find out how we can improve our Warcry power. So I'm using two weapon sets. One weapon set for all attacks and one weapon set for Warcries. For attacks, I'm using a bunch of these attacks with increased mobilization build-up. Honestly, one of the really nice and fun ways to play it is to actually remove energy shield and armor nodes and keep all attack nodes, because that's how it works. Whenever you use your skill, like Lunar Blessing, it instantly snapshots your passive skill tree. So if we snapshot it without any energy shield nodes, our energy shield will actually be instantly lower. So look, right now I will make attack and I get plus 200 energy shield. The problem is that sometimes we will be a little bit squishy when we're using this Warcries. That's why I decided to skip this. Also, it will lessen our armor, what I don't want, especially on hard maps. So I decided to lessen my damage a little bit, and it's completely not a problem because for support gems I'm still using prolonged duration, but I'm using concentrated area for more damage, elemental focus for more damage, elemental ornament for more damage, and close combat for more damage. Basically we quadrupled our damage from Lunar Blessing, and Moonbeams right now just melting bosses. Thing to consider if you will try to copy this build, I probably will make a little bit of changes. Still, I like to test bunch of stuff. Don't use elemental focus and use elemental ornament too, and maybe something else. Maybe even something like freeze. So here's the idea. We can actually drop like freeze over here. We can drop Embiter instead of elemental ornament, or just elemental ornament too, and we will force Lunar Blessing to actually have some insane amount of freeze build up on targets. It will help against bosses, so that's also a possible setup. Just make sure you got an idea. But right now I'm rocking with elemental focus and elemental ornament 3. Elemental ornament 3 is also quite interesting. It will give you more damage only if target is affected by elemental ailments. So to get more damage than from elemental ornament 2, we need to make sure we can inflict freeze, shock, and ignite at the same time. And I will explain how to do it extremely easy. More on that in a second. So for passive skill tree, again, for damaging nodes it's pretty easy, you will easily find them, but here we are. The first nodes you want to take as Warcries is over here, and this one will instantly remove 25% of your cooldown recovery. Basically it will make our cooldown of 16 seconds or so, and we will increase our Warcry speed a lot, followed by Warcry speed, and also Warcries will debilitate enemies, which means they will have reduced movement speed and deal reduced damage, which is really great. When we use Warcries we want to be protected, and Warcries will have 25 increased area of effect. You will see it on the map, but it's just crazy how big our beams right now. Also this skill set goes into skill effect duration over here, and then it goes into cooldown recovery rate and Warcry speed over here, and also into 40% increased damage with Warcries. This Warcry technically gives damage, so probably it works. Still need to be tested, so if it does not work, then we want to pick just all area of effect for attacks over here. Probably a really interesting choice, since technically Moonbeam is attack, and that's basically it. So that's the idea, going for area of damage. Now, one of the biggest changes you may see, there is no nodes over here. Damage against chilled enemies, damage against shocked enemies, damage against ignited enemies, and while it may look like a good nodes, it increasing your cold damage basically, in reality it's just noob trap. If you check it in the game, you will see there is no benefits at all. If you check it in POB, there will be no damage like benefits at all, and actually like good damage buffs is over here, so this stuff just increases our damage by insane amount. Also this part gives us insane amount of area when we kill recently, and this area is just insane because our attacks will cover whole screen basically. Technically there's no other changes on passive skill tree beside Jewels. Yeah, there's special Jewels, but more on that in a second. So, how to pull our Wolf to the next level even more? To have better protection, I used skill called Barkskin. It's a spirit buff, and whenever we get hit, what happens, we're gaining armor equal to 42% of energy shield lost. So technically it should give us around 800 armor. Even without this buff, with my current stats, with my current 3, I'm having 17k armor, which is just insane. It's more than enough. And this was just a drop in the ocean. This skill was pretty like weird and not needed at all. Instead, I got another support buff, which is just completely insane. It will cost a little bit more spirit than needed, so Herald of Ash is no longer in the build, and maybe I will craft amulet with spirit, so I will turn it on. It helps our clearing a little bit. But what we're using is Wolf Pack. So Wolf Pack will look like this. There will be a bunch of wolves, they will be fried, and they will die. That's it. And now we will become basically a totem, a shrine, an unkillable wolf. It looks amazing and insane, and it's just insanely overpowered stuff. What's the reason and how it works? We are in high cost upgrades category right now. So Wolf Pack with Amanamu Teeth, which is lineage support gem, and it costs around 1 divine right now, I guess, gives you 50% chance to gain Abyssal modifier for 20 seconds when minion from supported skill dies. With Wolf Pack we're gaining 6 wolves, and it's normally 5, but 6 if you upgrade quality. At the same time, we're using Ramira Requital, lineage support gem, it's pretty cheap. If I got hit, wolves actually will take damage for me, 10%, which is really cool. Also it will give us a recoup, which is also insane for our survivability. Then we're adding Infernal Legion, and that's basically it. Infernal Legion will make these wolves fright wolves, and when they frying, they will die pretty fast and give us this buff all the time. Also, I'm adding Essence Harvest. When wolves dying, they recouping our mana. It helps us with mana sustain a lot, so that's like insanely good combination. About mana, by the way, previously I fixed my mana problems with just Pounce and Mark of Siphoning. Mark of Siphoning gives us ability to leech mana based on attack damage. So we need to pounce, then we attack, we leech mana. It helps, but still, it's not enough. So to add a little bit of leech to Lunar Assault, we need to have Oisin Oath. Oisin Oath gives you mana leech based on elemental damage instead of physical damage. So this was Walker of the Wild's passive skill tree node before. But to make it work, you need a ring or you need a weapon with mana leech from physical damage. So I got this ring, 7% is more than enough, and it helps a lot. Still, if your skills cost lots of mana, like mine, but basically Oath in Oath helps a lot. Efficiency also helps with mana management, and for Lunar Assault I'm using rapid attacks as before, but also I'm using Bateir's Vengeance to increase our damage when we freeze enemies, pretty easy and straightforward, and I'm finishing with Deep Freeze. Deep Freeze is insane, it gives us 50% increased freeze duration, and this really helps. Now, Shred. Previously I used multi-shot on Shred. It's still viable, but here's the difference. Let's take some real numbers, for example 6k damage and 3 projectiles with 6 attacks per second and 26k DPS per second. So we got 26k DPS normal strike, 6k projectile, 6 attacks per second and 3 projectiles. In this example with close combat, we'll have 6 attacks that will produce 18 projectiles, so it's 18 projectiles. We multiply them by projectile damage, so it's multiplied by 6, for a total of 108k damage every second. And this will be multiplied by this 30% more attack damage. I hope at least it will. So we're not going too deep, we just assume it's 140k. Let's take a rough approach. 140k right now, it's projectiles. At the same time, we're doing 26k, and it also multiplied by 30%, so around 32k damage actually over here. Now, what if instead of 18 projectiles with 6 attacks, we will create 5 projectiles each time for a total of 30 projectiles with 6k DPS. We will get 180k DPS, but they will deal 25% less damage, so it's minus 45k, and it's 135k damage total. But the problem, this damage won't actually multiply our 26k damage on our basic strike. So in calculation with 26k damage, DPS actually, on our basic attack, we're getting like better results from projectiles. Actually no, it's worse. Yeah, it's just worse. Yeah, and it will be even more worse when I switch to correct weapon set, and I will check my shred DPS with like correct weapon set, because our normal strikes actually at 50k DPS right now. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's why I switched from multi-shot to close combat, and basically we're still using a long fuse. It helps us, elemental ornament and close combat. Now, how we multiply our damage even more? So Lunar Blessing right now just melts everyone. Arctic Hull, still same support gems. It's Deep Freeze, Ice Bite for our buff. Cooldown recovery, so basically that's it. But here's the trick, Cross Slash got buffed today. Still it's useless in terms of damage. It will be a little bit more useful in campaign, because Shockwave right now will deal insane amount of attack damage in this level of skill. But we don't want this attack damage, we want it to only trigger our projectiles. So instead, what I'm using on Cross Slash is still Elemental Ornament for a little bit of damage, but it's Inexorable Critical, which increases our critical hit chance a lot, but reducing critical damage bonus. We don't care about bonus, we're not scaling with this critical damage anyway, but we want to land a crit. And we want to land it because I'm using Blazing Critical. So now, whenever we crit, we're gaining buff with 5-second duration of 15% of damage as fire damage. Our damage is just through the roof all the time, but now after we using Cross Slash we will crit a lot, especially with Pinpoint Critical as the last support gem. And you can see right now our critical hit chance is 70%. Also talisman that I crafted in my last crafting session, link in the description by the way, link in the pinned comment by the way, with this extra critical hit chance, helps a lot, so it's just insanely powerful stuff. And that's it basically, that's how we're getting loads of fire damage. Also Wolf will fry our enemies at the same time, and technically there's only one last change that I made, and it's this new unique gloves, Grand Manchetes. When I firstly discovered those, I misread description. Immobilize enemies at 50% build up instead of 100%. I thought that basically instead of having 100% freeze build up, we will have worse freeze build up, but enemies will take more damage. Actually, now you don't need to wait until enemies will be primed for freeze at 70%, when they will be basically fully frozen at 100%. When enemies reach 50%, they will be frozen, and they will take 20% more damage. These gloves are just insane, it's best in slot for this build, and that's why we're taking them. But there's few more ideas how you can improve your damage and also survivability right now. So first of all, I switched to pure armor on my body armor. Most important part is having armor also applied to elemental damage. That's super big, and that's actually what helps us to build these resistances. With different passive skill tree, you can even hit like 90% resistances, or there's an option to anoint your amulet, so you can anoint tempered defenses. That's what I used just before a switch. So this anointment is pretty cheap, and you will be able to increase your armor by 25%, and also 15% of armor will apply to elemental damage. It's super easy and gives a lot of survivability. But I changed it to another anoint, which is really fun, because it will increase our damage at the same time as our survival. So I use Chakra of Thought. 8% of damage is taken from mana before life, and increased attack speed while not on low mana. Attack speed gives us insane DPS, but also having this damage taken from mana before life is actually insanely good. We're not only removing loads of damage taken from our elemental damage from armor, from our big armor, from our health pool and energy shield pool, but also mana is right now contributing to our damage taking, and that's also big. So I used this Heart of Revel diamond before, and it also gave me 3% of damage is taken from mana before life. It gives a lot of survivability. It's pretty good diamond by the way, just actually insanely good. But I switched this diamond into this Heart of the Well diamond. So this is extra damage as fire, as lightning, cold resistance, and skill effect duration. Again, skill effect duration helps me to sustain my buff for longer. It's also nice mod on your Heart of the Well if you're looking for a good one. Then, what is another annoyance you may think of? Let me turn off this annoying wolves. I will explain it in this section where I will explain my From Nothing picks. So From Nothing for me is Chaos Inoculation. Chaos Inoculation is not cheap. I initially thought it will be a great point, and I bought like 5 of them initially for 3 Divine Orbs and sold them for like 10. So it's pretty crazy, yeah. This part gives a lot of power for Wolf Druid. So basically we're getting increased freeze build-up, and hits will ignore non-negative elemental resistances on frozen enemies. Increase freeze build-up and increase damage with hits against frozen enemies. Gaining extra damage as chaos damage, and also increasing physical damage and plus 10 to strength. Sometimes it's hard to actually hit our attribute requirements, so it helps. And also Chakra of Elements, gain physical damage as extra cold damage against shocked enemies, and the same against chilled enemies. Basically we're getting 16% of extra cold and lightning damage together. This part is just insane, and these 5 points is very good. Also, as you can see, I'm not using this elemental damage over here. Again, it's like noob trap, I would say. It's useful, it's powerful, but in my tests, this part over here with loads of area of attack and 40% increased melee damage with hits at close range is just a lot better. You just need to be at close range and that's it. It's optional though, you can actually skip it and get more like elemental resistances, elemental damage. It's also powerful, but I'm skipping it, for now at least. This Chaos Inoculation from Nothing Diamond will give you ability to actually skip on these nodes over here with Penetration. So technically we don't care about Penetration and this 15% chance to treat resistance as inverted. So we don't care about this at all. We're just doing loads of damage. We're already ignoring all resistances on frozen enemies. But what if you don't have this like 10 divine orbs? First of all, you can use basic normal gem, and again, as I told you, invest over here in penetration, invest over here in like elemental damage, and this will be okay. But there's another pretty cheap and pretty valuable resolute technique from Nothing place. Basically, around this place you can increase armor if you hit enemy with melee attack recently, again helps your survival, and 50% increased melee damage against immobilized enemies. It's just insane boost of power. Also increase stun build up and increase area of effect if you stunned enemy recently, increase maximum life and stun threshold, plus 4 to maximum rage, increased skill effect duration, and increased life, area of effect, and chance for slam skills to cause aftershock. Basically this place is insanely beefy, so if you're looking for good from Nothing and you don't want to spend 10 divines on this, or I don't know how much they are right now, that's a good place. Another optional place is Resonance. Mostly just to fix your stats. So you can increase critical hit chance over here and get dexterity, critical damage bonus and get intelligence, get this Chakra of Thought, very powerful node as I told you, and even for fun you can get like increased chaos damage, but only get it if you got very powerful lineage support gems. I still don't have them, but I will farm Breach soon, and Tool Stillness and other stuff. Basically 40% of your cold damage is extra chaos damage, and it will contribute to freeze build up, so it can work together pretty easily. Finally, there is one more thing that can increase our effective hit pool, and effective hit pool is why you're dying basically. So if you're dying, that's how you can do it, and we will do it right now. We want more powerful helmets, so I got a bunch of them and we will craft it a little bit. I will tell you how to craft your helmet if you wish to. First of all, one of the options is to actually use helmet with only strength requirements, like this. It will have increased armor, and then you just need to tier craft a little bit how you can change your passives to get over here, and then increase armor energy shield, get armor applied to elemental damage, and then get maximum energy shield per 8 item armor on equipped helmet. So this nodes over here gives insane amount of survival for us, but it's 6 points from here. So we need to sacrifice other nodes. I don't know what. Build looks perfect, but maybe you will figure it out. Again, if you don't have this from Nothing, then it's viable. So for my helmet, what I'm looking for is to have nice armor and energy shield, or just high armor. It's also okay. And I'm looking for chaos and fire resistance, because without helmet I will lose loads of chaos and loads of fire resistance. Funnily enough, this helmet provides me with strength, and I also need strength, but I hope we will find solution later. So craft is insanely easy. You want to just start with base that already got increased armor and energy shield, preferably tier 1, or just increased armor. Bonus to armor and energy shield is also fine, but it's not better than percentage based increasement. Probably this will be my go-to helmet. I need this fire resistance, and I will just add Greater Essence of Ruin to this helmet to add chaos resistance, and to this also. Now on these helmets we need to fill prefixes. there's no other way how we can affect this craft besides choosing order. So what we will need to do is to fill prefixes and then use preserved rip to desecrate suffix. And now I'm just comparing prices. Is it better to use Omen of Sinistral Exaltation to affect prefixes with my Exalted Orb, and Omen of Greater Exaltation to use one Exalted Orbs as 2 in combination with Greater Exalted Orb. So it's 5 Exalted Orbs plus 5 plus 7. It's 17 Exalted Orbs to add 2 modifiers to our prefix. Instead, I can buy 2 Greater Exalted Orbs for 12 Exalts without consuming any Omens, and we will use Omen of Dexter Necromancy, which costs basically nothing, and Preserve to Rip to desecrate suffix. And here is what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for elemental damage. No, not elemental damage. Armor will apply to chaos damage. This will give us ability to basically pull our survival through the roof. So this goes into suffix, and this goes into suffix. Yes, it is. And now we will just slamming exalts and hope we get something good. Maximum life is not bad. And 2 armor tier 2. We got insanely overpowered helmet. Now let's check this one. Increased armor and G shield tier 1. Oh, perfect. And oh my goodness, there's some good rolls. Compared to my helmet, this one without any augments is already like tiers above. Using exalted orbs of greater tier will give us ability to roll at least minimum 35 level of augmentation, and in most cases there is no need to go above, since perfect exalt will cost like 10 greater exalts and it will only guarantee us tier 1 or tier 2, while this will guarantee tier 3 sometime. Still, again, it's pretty high chance to roll something cool. Since this helmet is so good, I'm just forced to use Omen of Abyssal Echoes. And if we land on some crazy rolls that we are looking for, let me just activate it, we are pretty good. So there is no armor applied to chaos resistance. Let's try once again. And here we are. Also none of it. But still this helmet looks a lot better than mine, so I take it. Okay, I hope you can roll something cool. Also no. Come on, please. Also no, but it also will work for me. Let's quickly try with this helmet and with this helmet. So this one is basically bricked, but we got 2 more attempts. Actually only 1. This league I was so unlucky, actually almost every craft completely bricked, but this one just looked very promising. Okay, let's see. A dream helmet. No. Let's do it. Oh jeez, okay. So there is no armor applied to chaos damage, but at least we got applied to elemental damage. There's pretty high cold resistance roll, but this will give us a lot better survival with our current setup. But since my resistances are fixed, let's talk about runes. Don't forget, there's extra effects when you're playing Shaman, and previously I used this rune. It increases experience gain, but also when you're playing Shaman, you're getting bonus to all elemental resistances, plus 10 bonus. It's just insanely overpowered rune for Shamans in your helmet. However, if your resistances are fixed like mine, then there is a rune that gives increased exposure effect and magnitude of non-damaging ailments inflicted. It's insanely cheap, and this rune is actually insane. So we will use Strength rune in armor right now, instead of Chaos rune, since my resistance is basically okay, over the cap anyway, and I will use this rune in helmet. That will give us a lot of extra power for increasing exposure effect. At the same time, in armor I'm using a rune that gives me 15% of damage is taken from mana before life. It's very powerful stuff, in combination with all other our survival abilities. Wolf got nerfed? I don't think so. Wolf is just insane and overpowered, and I hope you enjoyed the build. It probably the last one. If you want to see any updates, I will maybe post them in my Discord, but I will be rerolling on new characters soon, and based on the poll, it will be Ice Twister Huntress, and I got another secret build for Huntress that we will reroll later. So guys, see you in the next videos.